YouTubers, and welcome to another episode. Hopefully you enjoyed that little clip of us on a Leander training camp in Spain. And today, as you can tell from the title, it's about the changing of my rowing stroke and how the difference between America, difference between the UK, how I've changed, how I've thought about the rowing stroke, so quite rowing specific today. And it's from one of my friends that I rowed with at university, Big Bill Tomlinson. Thanks, Bill. So we're going to chat about that throughout the day and then see if anything comes up during the sessions. But today we've got a erg and a row, and more intense erg, so looking forward to that. But I have to get to the club, finish the smoothie, get changed, get on the water initially. So let's get to it. We're going to go out in the water today. We've got to the club now, but look at the fog. So I'm not sure if it'll be safe to be out in the boats if we can't see where we're going. But we'll still get into the club, get changed, and then see what we end up doing. And the fog is terrible, so we're doing some erging on the ergometers. Oh yeah, a little bit of intensity to prep for the prep. So let's get to it. Hey, the boys! Woo! Yeah! And that's us finished. First little piece, little bit of pretty much the first time we've had that pace in quite a while. So that is closer to 2k pace for longer than 20 strokes. So that's good, good prep. And then we've got some longer pieces coming up. And then we've got trials for next weekend. So we've got another piece just now. Probably try and go a little bit faster, a little bit higher. So I'm getting used to what I'll be doing for a 2k. And now the juniors are doing theirs. But let's get on the erg again and let's get doing the pieces. And that's us finished our little workout, but now Ed's doing a little bicycle. Oh yeah. And we've made it to the crew room. We've got some food to fuel up after such a session. We've got Ed, who started crying after his workout.
No, you are. That's false news, fake news.
False fake news. No, he didn't cry, but he did work very hard. So he was doing some max watts on the bicycle. Everyone else was doing some prep trials, as you can tell from the bread. Oh, yeah. But now it's time to fuel up, because food is fuel, so let's get to it. And we've fueled up for the session. We're walking down the stairs between the gym and the crew room. We're going to get ready and we're going to get in the water. And it's absolutely chucking it in. Hello, YouTubers, and we're back with essentially what Erg Thoughts was as we get started on the water. So like I said, we were going to talk, or I'm going to talk about sort of differences in rowing, or my rowing, as I have spent more time rowing and at different locations as well. So pretty good angle for discussing what I'm rowing like now. So I'm going to use that and then kind of go backwards. So as you can see right now, I would say it's like a fluid stroke, or at least that's where I'm trying to go. Just trying to be off the back end, away, sort of separating, straightening the arms, and then it looks like a sort of looser drive, like in a pair. Since the pin is more towards the back end, you want that step in the water and then a push to the finish. And so this is where the drastic differences from my rowing career. So I started rowing in eights at an American university, at Northeastern University in Boston. So that really molded how I row, especially to begin with. Because it was in eights, so rowing an eight is very different than rowing a pair. And two, since I was so new to rowing when I was at the university to start with, so it was pretty much my first year of rowing was at university. So it involved a lot of eights rowing, some pairs rowing, some fours rowing, but the vast majority was eights rowing. And so in an eight, you want to almost row, well, some people want to almost row the opposite to a pair. So you want to load up the catch quite drastically and then let the finish kind of take care of itself. And so how I used to row back then, I was lighter, less fit, not as strong, but I would be putting a lot of the emphasis on the catch, and so like the rest of us would as well, because we were rowing eights and we were all trying to do the same thing. So we'd be trying to lift the boat out of the water essentially at the catch and then extend and hold that for as long as possible. But then the finish sort of round the back end would kind of take care of itself. And then as I've rowed more and more, not so much, okay, I've thought, okay, this is not the right way to row. It's more I've changed locations. So I tried to row, or I thought I was rowing roughly the same style in America for the entire 4 years. Or at least the coaches would coach a similar style the entire 4 years. So very front-ended, and so that meant that my catch was pretty accurate at the time, and then I was very used to the speed of the boat itself, and so that can be quite a big thing to get used to when you're transferring between eights and pairs, or slower boats and faster boats, is the speed of the boat itself and the accuracy that you need to be able to catch and send the boat when it is going faster. And when I moved away from America to Leander Club, obviously that's a very different sort of setting, and we row a lot more pairs until the summer, and when we happened to be rowing eights. But even then, when we jumped into eight for the summer for our Henley campaign, it was definitely a lot different from the American rowing that I was used to. Similar, because a lot of us were rowing pairs for 3 or 4 months at the start of the season. We were trying to mold the pair rowing into the eights rowing, rather than, okay, you're rowing eights now and you're going to row eights till next year kind of thing. So it was more back-ended, a lot more about like a separation. I remember one of my favorite things to do was going down the Charles River with the guys side by side, and we would have inside arm only and just yamming on it as much as we could. And then I was very surprised when I got to Leander when we were told, let's do some outside arm only drills. So I was very confused. I was like, well, I'm used to doing my inside arm only. And so that was a big thing for me. As you can see as I'm rowing along, my inside arm is reasonably bent compared to my outside arm, which is generally kind of what we're taught anyway, just having your outside arm loop round the arc. But having the relaxed inside arm is something I've been trying to
bring into my rowing, just because I've been used to having, like, if we rowed so much inside arm only, your outside arms tends to sort of just go away, not go away, but like it just starts to take less of the strain, whereas I'm being told to put more weight in the outside arm and more control in the outside arm, and then just use the inside arm for feathering. So that can kind of depend on the coaches and how you're looking at it, but basically the biggest things, like I said, probably how I'm dealing with inside arm and outside arm, and also how the stroke itself, so is it back-ended or front-ended. And a big thing, like I mentioned, so now compared to university, I was around 90 kilos at university. I was just under 6 minutes for a 2K, and we didn't do that much in the weight room, but now quite a lot in the weight room. I got to 20 kilos heavier than that. I'm a bit lighter than that now, and my weights, I've never been stronger. So the stroke, I'm able in theory to take a very different stroke because I am much stronger. For example, the blades are very different. They're longer than I used to row at university. They're different. They're the cleaver oars versus the fat oars, I think is the description, and the short ones. They basically just lock on the catch and you can send it. They're awesome. I really like them. So that was a big difference. That was a big change where it was like, okay, I actually have to be a bit more technical and a bit more accurate here. But that's probably it for how the differences in rowing so my rowing career has went on, and I know as I keep rowing it'll change again and again, but I feel like right now, as you can even see now, there are almost 1 or 2 strokes where our blades are off the water, and there's almost some strokes in there where my catch is almost in before I get to, before I drive. So this is almost it. We're getting there. It used to be a lot worse where I would drive and then the blade would go in. So just having that confidence to place the blade, really. But let's get back to the rest of the episode.
Hopefully you enjoyed that little chat about how my rowing has changed over time with some rowing in the background. But now it's time to fuel up, because food is fuel.
And we've made it back into the crew room. We've got a delicious barbecue wings, chips and sweet corn for lunch today to fuel up after the session in the pier. We're doing some bursts in said pier, and hopefully enjoyed the little bit of chatting about the differences between sort of rowing now and how my rowing has changed from before. Okay, but now it's time to fuel up once again after another excellent session. So let's get to it. And we've made it outside of the club for the end of the day. Hopefully you enjoyed the little bit of a chat over the rowing footage to do with just how I rowed differently, how I row differently now versus at uni, why I think that is and all that jazz, but a little bit different instead of just chatting away at the camera. Let me know in the comments below if you did enjoy that, or I should go back to talking head and just chatting away, or maybe we'll just mix it up, and also any suggestions that you may have to mix things up too, because most of the ideas, like I said at the start of the video, are from people like yourselves. Again, thanks Bill for today's suggestion, awesome suggestion, and awesome to be getting in some prep work for the trials coming up in almost a week's time. Obviously, seeing Ed giving it some big yam on the bike is awesome too. But that will be the end of today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and as always, Yam Squad, subscribe if you haven't already, hit that like button, and have a good one.